I'm not going to be too serious today because it is a bank holiday, and as you know, God or Great Britain or the planes flying over save the best of the weather for this, don't they? A bank holiday. So I thought I'd start the day off with a bang, and I put my weather forecast on Twitter. I'll just read it out to you. Good morning from global boiling Britain, where temperatures here in the northwest could soar to 14 degrees this bank holiday. Tent blowing expected to be mild to moderate as camping stoves double as heating. Those in touring vans will exercise the usual disdain as they pass the tent section on their chosen field with a degree of smugness that can only be achieved by the thought of the luxury of using their chemical toilet, which is en suite to the lounge for those nighttime peas. Where the lesser tented mortals have to trail to the drafty communal bogs and shower blocks. No communal showers for these upper crust campers as they bang their elbows and knees and can be heard as the occupants struggle with personal hygiene as the caravan shower has the same pressure as a catheter after a minor bowel operation. Days will be spent looking for cafes with condensation dripping down the windows as paying guests seek the cheapest sustenance on the menu to afford a lengthier stay on the seats where their asses spill off the sides like sticky dough in a baker's oven. Outside tables will only get filled by hairy middle-aged bikers whose helmets sit proudly on the table like a much-needed condiment for the exquisite homemade delight they're about to devour. They're happily scraping the flies off their teeth in preparation for their much-needed treat that they've zoomed 45 miles to eat. The day continues with screaming brats bored by the beauty of the countryside and can't wait to get back to the car to chat to their friends on the phone, as family conversation is about as stimulating as watching someone else's kid in a school play. Have a good weekend. Then I put a map up showing our weather at 13 degrees. Actually, it's gone up now. It's 14 degrees. I might take my scarf off. I mean, you couldn't make it cut. That bloke, what's he called, that comes on GB News? What's he called? Is it Jim Dale? I always like to put on his thread. What was it like working with Sid James? Knowing full well he's got nothing to do with the Carry On films. Or he should have Carry On Claptrapping. He should make a film about that. Because I'm still waiting for his big reveal. You know, back in April when he told us, well, on GB News, he told us it's going to be an epic change. A mammoth change. You'll watch this shift to really hot weather. That's me drumming my fingers in August waiting for it to turn up. I mean, we are stuffed, aren't we, with various topics. But today, I want to try and stick to what helps me keep my boat afloat, which is just generally having a laugh. My house is, it was a row of cottages we turned into one house. And the other day I got two Mormons who were coming to hopefully preach the good word of the God. But Mormons think they're all gods, don't they? They think men are gods. I mean, I watched a video about Mormon thinking, and I thought, ooh, I've just gone right off Donny Osmond after years of thinking he was absolutely gorgeous. Anyway, so they knock at my door, kitchen door, and the suits on. Nice clean cut lads, obviously floss. And oh, good morning, could they talk to me about this, that and the other? So I thought, go on then, you can. I went, go on then. I said, first of all, do you have any direct contact with Donny Osmond? And they went, Donny Osmond. I said, Donny Osmond. And they called it puppy love. They just looked at me blank. I think there must have been probably embryos when Donny sang that. I said, Donny Osmond, Donny and Marie, Donny and Marie, puppy love, the Osmonds. Crazy horses, wah, wah. Actually, did that to him at the door. I said, he's one of your top men. I said, he's like Salt Lake City, multiple wives. Well, maybe not. I said, you don't, unless you've got a direct link to Donny Osmond, I don't think we've got anything to talk about. I've wet buckets over that man over the years. He was my heartthrob when I was at school. Just between that gap when I started my first period and then wondered what the hell was going to go on for the next 20 years after I had to have this every single month. That really took me by storm, did that. So these two lads are looking at me. I bet it's the first time they've ever thought to themselves, we must move on. Anyway, so they decided to move on. So we gave our pleasantries. I said, oh, I'm sorry I haven't got time to stay and chat. Imagine a door knocker not having time to stay and chat. That's how you get rid of them. Crack on to be a loon. Anyway, so off they went. Next news, I can hear a knock at the other side. I have my big, proper, posh front door at the other side. So I went scooting through the house. I opened my front door and he said, you again? I said, yeah. I said, it comes with a turf. I live here. It's one house. I said, do you want to go through it all again? He said, no, we've taken up enough of your time. Result. So that got rid of them. I just imagine them walking back up to the village because they've had to trail down to my house to get an audience. Must just thought, well, we'll try and, there's one property, we'll try and convert it. Stick to more rooftops. When you can see it sky dish, you can knock on a few doors and get rid of a few, can't you? Much better canvassing that than picking on isolated properties. But these people really, that's why religion, as its form of believing in this or that or the other one, doesn't float my boat. I don't know how I'd describe my religion. I was brought up as a Christian in a Church of England school by a Catholic mother and a Protestant father. That was called a mixed marriage in them days. My granddad didn't speak to my dad for the first 6 months. Obviously, the war came and things kind of changed a bit. I think one of the funniest stories my mother ever told me, I hope this don't put you off. Bearing in mind, we lived in terraced houses, and my grandma and granddad lived in the same terraced house when I was born that they did during the war. And they had one of them shelters in the backyard and what have you. Anyway, when my dad had started courting my mother, this was probably just before the war, it'd be about 17 or 18, he was courting my mother. My mother was youngest of three. And so there was like a little thing upstairs where they could go and sit. And there was this, what we all had one, a front place they used to call it, back kitchen and front place. So my Dad and my mother are doing a bit of courting in front place, and Grandad's gone to bed. He got sick of chaperoning him. It had got late, 10 to 10. And my Grandad's gone upstairs, so he shouts downstairs after my mother and father are probably doing a bit of canoodling, whatever's going on. They had my brother in wedlock, so it couldn't have been that bad. My Grandad shouts down, Elsie? What? Has who gone yet? No, Dad. So they carry on. Another 10 minutes goes by. My Grandad shouts down again. Elsie? What? Has your bugger gone yet? No, Dad, he's just going. Another 10 minutes goes by, so she decides to lie. Elsie? What, Dad? Has who bloody gone yet? Yes, he's just gone. Thank God for that. Come up here and empty this bloody paw, will you? That's what we used to have. I'm awfully sorry if there are any posh people watching this. A po is something that was, you call it a jerry or a potty even. It went under the bed, a gazunder even. And they went under the bed to save the paw from trailing down the yard to the outside lav. We all had them in our own bedrooms. Some of us, it was the equivalent in those days of an ensuite. So that was my mother's first embarrassment with a newfound beau, my dad, who at that stage was only young. Anyway, they did end up marrying, but they were courting through the war. I think they married just after the war. My dad got sent away, my mum got sent to a munitions factory. You know how the poor get bloody trodden on. Which is why I defend it so much, because I know what they went through. And whatever we think we're going through now, it's not as bad as being separated for 4 years while somebody goes and fights and you're looking forward to getting a tin of peaches through post and a pair of nylons. I mean, that must have been grim. And living off half a pack of butter for 2 weeks. And rationing went on to well after the war. And I'm saying all this because one of the reasons I fight a lot, because we're losing democracy and we're going communism, like luxury communism, but nevertheless. And to achieve it all, they have to get rid of the likes of me, you know, snot-nosed kid that's like, managed to scrape out of poverty. Guess what? By working. Oh, you're joking. That I fight so hard because I don't want to see it happen to other people. And, you know, I know my eldest stepdaughter is worried about her future because she's only 40 odd, and Lilani Dowding, we were having a conversation about this the other day about, I put a video up of, I think it was a decorator who went to work in a woman's house. She was 80, and she was saying like, she'd be glad when she's out of here, meaning the world. And he felt sorry for her thinking like that because of the way the world was going. And I thought, well, hang on, I'm only 66 and I've thought that. And my stepdaughter actually said, oh God, no, what happens when you go? And I'm on my own with it. And I thought, it's affected everybody from every age group. And this is why it's so important to hang on to that sense of humour. We were gifted in this country. We were gifted in two areas, I think. Well, three, well, many, I suppose. But the two main ones, which I think are real gifts from God, are, whoever your God is, humour and music. We've got some of the best musicians and the best, we'll call them pop songs, rock songs, the best music in the world. You know, we're the ones with all the pop groups, we're the ones with all the rock groups. All right, there's a lot in America. But considering the size of the population, we've stormed it, haven't we? Everybody knows the Beatles from Merseyside, and everybody knows Mick Jagger. Yeah, I just imagine his mother sticking him to a window when he was a kid with them lips, don't you? Wait there, Mick. I'm just nipping in for some fags. To be careful on it, because it's American and ciggies, we mean ciggies. So we've got all that. And let's face it, I'm going to be real biased here, but the best comedians, I'm sorry, the best comedians come from the north, for sure. There's more of them anyway. I mean, some of the southern ones are all right, and these new woke ones, what the comedians are, they're just like, nobody ever laughs, it just makes like a wry comment, and heads go from side to side, and that's comedy. I prefer the likes of Les Dawson, and Ken Dodd can still make me laugh. But that's my age group, and I'm allowed to feel like that. And I think the, you know, rising damp situation comedies like that. Oh, Miss Jones, oh, Mr. Rigsby. I love that programme. Vienna the cat, when he thought he cremated it. That were a brilliant comedy. And you can't show it now because it's politically incorrect, probably because it were funny. And I look at some of these younger people, you know, from these woke universities. Can't clap, it's too noisy. Get to a Ken Dodd concert or a Shirley Bassey concert. They're hanging off the balcony, they're that bloody wound up with it. Woo! That's what it's supposed to be like in there, especially when you pay money to go out and enjoy yourself. You should be able to be noisy and loud. And the thing is, I look at that drip that we've got now from a Prime Minister, and all I can think of is someone like him, when he's taken his clothes off at night to go to bed, folding his underpants up. Well, I've got another busy day ahead tomorrow, screwing the country. Oh, yes, you have, darling. Yes, I have, and I've got to screw it as fast as I possibly can. I've got to do it a lot quicker than Rishi. I wonder where Rishi is now, eh? Probably on some yacht somewhere worth like 55 million quid, drinking some sort. Oh, no, he won't drink, will he? But, you know, it was just a notch on his rifle. Yes, I ran Great Britain once, little pocket guy. He's a Prime Minister from the pocket. We can take him anywhere. He's gone. He's history. Remember everybody worrying about Rishi? He's gone. He's down the road. And then we've got, what's she called? Angela Rayner, who's now Angela, well, what she's done right as, is she Home Secretary? Foreign I can't keep. Oh, no, David Lammy's foreign, isn't he? David Lammy's Foreign Secretary, and he's already got the order of the boot from Benjamin Netanyahu bollocks. I don't get involved with that Israeli Gaza stuff. I don't have anything to do with it. They've been trying to sort it out since Jesus was wandering around, and they still haven't done it. So believe me, I don't care who you think you are blogging about that. You are never going to change anything. This is way beyond our hands. Anyway, Lammy got the order of the boot. Secretly delighted at that, even though I don't like Netanyahu. But Angela Rayner, she's decided now it's the right good idea, because I heard Jeremy Kyle say it. Jeremy Kyle read it out loud on Talk TV, so they won't sue him, will they? And Angela's decided it's the right good idea now. Were they said in the manifesto that terrorists weren't going to be allowed. I mean, you can't believe you have to have this in a manifesto, can you? Terrorists weren't going to be allowed to be enter social housing. Oh, come on, you have to put that in the manifesto. We're not going to have terrorists in social housing. That shouldn't be allowed anyway, should it? So what's happened? Angela's she's had a bit of a change of thought because she depends on a particular section of the community for her vote. That's why she went greasing round them in a hijab to try and make them believe that she was the best ginger growler they'd ever have. So anyway, she's decided now to revoke that. So she's going to open social housing up for him. If you want to know what he actually said, it's on my Twitter feed. Just Google Jeremy Kyle, Angela Rayner, housing terrorists, that kind of thing. It'll come up. Yeah, they're going to be allowed. So they're not prioritising anybody who's a tax-paying Brit here to go on social housing. No, because apparently even if you're not very nice, you can get on. I mean, we've got a really high calibre. I'm talking like this because that's how I think. That's how I think they sound to me. These people running our country now, like, oh, a bit dumb. But, nevertheless, they've had educations and stuff like that. So we're supposed to look up to them. No, we don't. We don't look up to you at all. You're crippling the country. You're even naffing off people who voted for you haven't even been in, 60 days? So I just wonder how much longer they can go on, because as they hit more people, as more people wake up to... I see it on my news thread. I can't believe what they're doing now. Oh, believe it, baby. It's been coming. And you buggers that didn't go out to the ballot box and vote, you like, oh, I'm spoiling my ballot paper. Ooh, I tell you. Spoiling your ballot paper. You might as well just not go out. You might as well have a coffee. Doesn't matter. That's a fallacy. So anyway, the reason I'm meandering a bit here is I wanted to keep it light for the bank holiday, due to the fact, I'm looking at my window now, scarf and a jumper. Please note, it is August. A scarf and a jumper. And sometimes my visuals here, I'm going to try and get a torch up so that I can make myself look a bit brighter. There we go, is that a bit better? Maybe up my cans, it's my other phone turned around with a torch on. Because the light keeps going dark again. And my dogs are sat indoors. 2 of my 5-a-day are sat with me right now. They've just had their breakfast. So I wanted to keep this kind of light-hearted. I hope the story of my ancestors and their toilet hygiene routine hasn't put you off me. I don't live like that now. I have 4 flushing toilets. I flush them with great pride. Even when I'm not using them, I just walk past and give them a flush. Love it. Modern plumbing. And what I think we should do is concentrate on some time in the day, in every single day, where it's just for you. It's difficult if you're busy with kids, so you've got your grandkids around, but try and remember that loads of horrible things have gone on and happened to people. I mean, no matter how much I go on about immigration and migrants, they're coming from somewhere worse. Even if they're bad, they're coming from somewhere worse. So at least you're not them. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't want to be in Somalia. I wouldn't. Mogadishu, it's dangerous. Actually, I think Coronation Street's more dangerous than Mogadishu. There's more murders there, isn't there? I won't move to Coronation Street. I mean, Gail Platt, how many times has she been widowed? They've been kidnapped. There's all sorts going on. I haven't watched Coronation Street for 10 years, so I might be way behind the times. But nevertheless, lots of people do still watch the soaps. And what we haven't to do is get angry with them because they're watching the soaps and not going out taking notice of politics. Very difficult to do sometimes because it's the apathy that's really helped to put us where we are today. But as I say, the biggest thing is there's lots of people, I know I did that weather forecast about the caravanners. I have a static lodge. I have a nice lodge that I go to. So technically I'm a caravaner. Of course, we don't do camping gas. We've got 2 huge bottles. And they're a type of person, I think, caravanners. Like Rotary are a type. The guys that join Rotary, they're always organising things, aren't they? And do-gooding and what have you. They're like a type, like people who join golf clubs are a type. My husband's a golfer before you think anything, but he's not a typical golfer. But there are types. I've been to quite a few golf club dues, and first thing they ask you, do you play golf, June? And I go, no, I don't play golf. It spoils a good walk with a dog. And immediately you tell them you don't play golf, female golfers go, oh, they're not interested. So I don't do a lot of socialising at the golf club because I'm not a golfer. He likes it. He likes trailing around looking for balls. He plays off 12. I think that's pretty good, actually. And, it gets him out, gets him walking. It's fresh air. Gets him out from under my bloody feet. Shuts me cafe down. I'm not cooking. I've only had cups of tea this morning because I don't want to eat yet. Whereas if he was here, I'd be on about third bloody meal. So, him going to golf's one of my 5 a day. Not because I don't like him, but because his idea of being at home is completely different to mine. Mine's waiting for a slot in the weather, go and do my exercises in my hot tub, I do my cleaning up and stuff like that, put my washer on, feed my dog, walk and that kind of thing. But I look forward to solitude. I do. I like solitude. And I think that, put it on the thread. I know a lot of people who had really busy lives, especially when they've been in sales or on the road or going to meetings up and down the country, who are more than happy to have this more distanced lifestyle. And I think it's enhanced it since lockdown because I don't want to meet new people who are right into joining in the rollout multiple times, and because I can't keep my gob shut. So there's no point opening up a new friendship where I want to say, what the bloody are you playing at? I might as well just stay polite and nod at them in the supermarket and then come back to somewhere where I feel welcome, like my own house. Twitter, YouTube a bit. So for me, I'm happy to be on my own. I mean, it's easy to say that, isn't it, when I'm interacting with hundreds of people. I mean, I'm in these WhatsApp groups and I do Zoom calls and I do these podcasts, on other people's shows. And so I'm talking all the time. This is interaction to me because when I've done this, I will read what you put. I comment and click like and thumbs up a lot, much more than anybody else that I've seen who does this sort of thing. But I do that because if I don't do that, what am I doing it for? Because I don't need the money. I mean, YouTube pay me a bit, but I'm not doing it for that. I'd be better off paying more attention to my business life instead of letting David do all the heavy lifting than messing around on here. But what I get back from it is I think I'm on the right track with something and you should know about it. So when I put that out there on Twitter, Twitter is more like newsworthy. This is more just a flowing thing that meanders around. But I have to see what you're saying because otherwise I just think I'm bonkers. Because I think, well, how do I know anyone else is thinking like me? And then I look down the thread, especially on YouTube, you're quite open and honest. And it's not an easy platform to be open and honest on. But I think, oh no, she does too. Oh, look at him. I need that as much as you need to listen to this. Because I know I'm not going bonkers. I know that I'm seeing something that literally millions, definitely thousands that I can see, because I've got 300,000 followers altogether. But millions of people are seeing. And some can't cope, some don't want to know, and some haven't got it yet. And that's why we are where we are. But this is where I think the Labour Party is a unique weapon in this fight for freedom, because they are going to be so bloody abysmal that they're not going to please anybody. They're not going to please the super rich, because they've no intention of doing that. They can only please corporate greed. They're not going to please the middle upper working class, the ones earning good money. And that's a core essence of their voters, because a lot of the people that support Labour, who've never really experienced any poverty, who think, they're sort of like better than us because they voted to stay in the European Union, you're going to get clobbered just as well, mate. Because they don't want you to survive anyway. Because they have to home in now on people who have some money. They can't take it off the poor. They're already giving it to the poor, so they're not going to hit them. But the poor aren't going to get any better off. It's not a levelling up, it's a levelling down. So the only place they can get the money is from the taxpayers who work. So even if you're lower income, you're going to get hit harder again because everything's going up so fast. And it's not, you can't blame Labour because they've picked this up from the Tories, who weren't Tory anyway. So whilst I don't like Keir Starmer, I decidedly do not like him. I think he's wooden, I think he's cold, I think he's heartless, and I think he's driven. And that's not what I want from a leader. I want someone who's looking at us as though we matter. I think he looks at us as though a farmer would look at sheep. They matter to a point because you don't want to lose any money on them. And you've got to take them to the slaughterhouse one day. So you need to keep them in good order to get the best price for them. And I think he sees us like a tax farm. And all you need to know is if a politician is standing up talking to you, then it doesn't mean what he's telling you. You've only got to look at the faces. They are the worst salesmen in history. I don't know how they ever get voted in. They are the poorest salesmen I've ever seen. Does Ed Miliband look genuine to you? Does Keir Starmer sound like he cares? Or does he sound like somebody's written him a speech and he's got to say those words? Because that's what he sounds like to me. Staccato Keir. Da, 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 da. It's like a little Morse code message when he speaks. So I just know they don't mean it. And I've never relied on any of them, even when I was younger and not political. I didn't even look at politics. So whatever I did with my life, I just got on with it. And there's millions of people doing that right now. So just because you know there's something wrong doesn't mean that you have to suffer from knowing there's something wrong. Because everything else that you've got is still available to you. And the best thing is to get the best from your day, the best from this bank holiday, the best from the next one, the best from a day with bad weather. Just make sure that you realise that you are the most important person in your life. Not politicians, not your kid's teacher, you. Because if you feel good about you, that then just naturally comes out to other people and you'll make them feel better. That, like a woman came to my house the other day, down in the dumps, and she said, "Oh, June, what are we going to do?" I went, "Oh no, what about?" And she went, "Well, everything." "Oh," I said, "I don't know. I've never took everything on board. I don't do everything at once." I said, "Sometimes I get like that if my washing basket fills up. What am I going to do about it? I've been lazy, I've been blogging, I've not put my washer on." And she looked at me and I said, "What are we going to do about everything? You're not seriously taking everything on board, are you? You've gone from being like, putting it about a bit when you were younger. You weren't thinking about it then when you were flat on your back on some car park, were you? You were just getting on with it." No, of course, her husband doesn't know she was flat on her back. Well, she knows. He knows she was flat on her back with him. He doesn't know about all other buggers. But where were her brain then? How come we're suddenly all serious? She needs to get back on flat on her back again, I think. But the thing is, it's overwhelming because you've got social media and the telly with news coming into you from all over the world, like Germany with this recent attack. Terrible. People's lives have been changed forever. And the usual non-disclosure of what sort of assailant it is to kind of keep a lid on the pressure pot when we all know what's going to happen when, we wait for the great reveal. But are you really bothered about what's going on in a town in Germany? Because there was stuff going on in France 2 days ago that you haven't even got to know about. So you can't take it all on board. And if you're all right this weekend, I try and live, my brain splits up like this. Right, live for today, plan for tomorrow, and forget about yesterday. Live for today, plan for tomorrow. And my plans take me like that so that I'm not overwhelmed with it. Because obviously in my position with people messaging me and sending me stuff, I get bombarded with things. So I have to do that, otherwise I won't be able to handle it. But you haven't to take all these bits of bad news on board because you've got to remember most of it doesn't mean that the events aren't happening. You've got to look at why you're getting informed about them. And you're getting informed about them because a lot of people are getting an income from informing you. They're not really too bothered about your feelings. They're not bothered whether it's just depressed you because you've not got over Southport, whatever's going on. It's clickbait. Clickbait online and it's advertising revenue on the telly. Doesn't have to be for BBC, does it? It's paid for by us. Anyway, talking of the BBC, I will roll on to this. It can be revealed, that's their words, not mine, by the Telegraph, that the BBC employed chauffeurs that were convicted paedophiles it was for 30 years, who took Jimmy Savile and bigger celebrities about. A lot of people claim that Jill Dando were bumped off because she was discovering this paedophile ring. But the article's behind the paywall, and I won't pay for a publication, but I've got someone who's going to get it to me. But literally, there's an article in the Telegraph, you can Google it, about a convicted paedophile that was employed as a chauffeur business. So I think it was his business, and he had chauffeurs, and he was one of them, I'm not sure, to read it all. But he was actually convicted of raping a child at gunpoint. And he was a chauffeur for the BBC, for their personnel. That place, it's like, should have been called Sodom and Gomorrah Television. That would have been more apt. Anyway, I just thought I'd leave you with that one today, thinking of Jill Dando. I've been discussing it with Dan Wotton. He's as surprised as me. And I'm on Dan Wotton's show on Monday tea time, 5:30, with Lilani Dowding, chewing the cud of recent events with Dan's usual smooth delivery. You can subscribe to his uncancelled channel, which is about £5 a month, I think. I don't know. But we go on the YouTube bit, and that's for about half an hour, and then we wait a second or two, and then we go on to it's called Outspoken, I think. Dan Wotton Outspoken. And then he's off YouTube, so it's his webpage, so he's more informative, as we all are. Anyway, it still isn't sun shining. I've still got a scarf on. All those happy campers. If you are in a caravan watching me, enjoy your weekend. There's nothing wrong with a bit of caravanning. In fact, I think if they change the caravanning laws, like Victoria Wood said, you'd have a public outcry.